Diogo Jota was never the best footballer. He didn't dribble like Messi, shoot like Ronaldo, or sprint like Mbappe. What he did do was raise a generation, a new wave of kids wanting to be professional footballers just like him. But at his peak, he died in a car crash, which is why this video will be treated with complete care. His story started in Gondoma's academy. As a young player, it was his dream to play professionally in the big leagues one day. He played for local club Gondoma between the ages of 9 and 17, and in 2022, the academy was even named after him. Having been rejected by larger clubs due to his physique, Jota signed up for Paços de Ferreira youth setup in 2013. This was his chance to prove himself in a top division club. Within just 1 year of joining the club, he was promoted to the main squad at the start of the 2014 to 2015 season. At first, his performance was pretty underwhelming for a rising star, but the following season, something clicked inside him. He scored 12 goals and provided 8 assists in the second season, earning his team a 7th place finish, which was pretty good considering it was the first year of his professional career. After the manager saw his potential, on 13 May 2015, Jota would sign a 5-year deal with Paços, meaning he couldn't leave the club unless another club purchased him. Jota was also known for turning down invitations for a night out just to stay in playing FIFA. During this period, manager Jorge Simão even compared him to the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, stating that he would be the next big player. Unfortunately for Paços, Diogo Jota would soon be transferred to Atletico Madrid for a price of $3 million. But before he could even play in a single game, he was loaned out to FC Porto for a singular year. On the 1st of October, something insane would happen. Jota would score a hat-trick in just the first half, leading his team to a 4-0 victory. However, history would repeat itself as he would get signed to Wolverhampton Wanderers on a season-long loan before he could unlock his true potential. This was when Jota's talent really started to show. On 15 August, he scored his first goal in a 3-2 win over Hull City. It was clear at this point that Diogo Jota wasn't just any winger, he was the winger. So it came as no surprise that by January 2018, Wolves had triggered a 14 million permanent transfer effective that summer. He scored a career-best 17 league goals in his very first year, ranking 5th in the league top scorer rankings, allowing Wolves to achieve promotion to the Premier League as champions. It's also worth mentioning that Diogo Jota guided Wolverhampton to a historical FA Cup title, sending them to the Europa League qualifiers. He had done it. Ever since he was a child, all Jota ever wanted was to play in the big leagues, and now here he was, standing on arguably the biggest football stage in the entire world, the Premier League. In his Premier League debut, he secured a 2-2 draw with Everton and scored his first ever goal on 5th December in a 2-1 comeback win over Chelsea. His second win came just 4 days later in a win at Newcastle United with the same score. Remember when I said that Jota scored his first hat-trick while playing against Nacional? Well, since Jota was now in the big leagues, people doubted his skill. Some even went as far as to saying he was never good, he was simply the best out of the bad bunch. But Diogo Jota didn't care. He continued doing what he did best, and that was to put the ball in the back of the net.
Diogo Jota!
And it's in by Diogo Jota! Diogo Jota scores again! Diogo Jota!
Diogo Jota!
Diogo Jota, yes!
This would be a good time to mention that this is only my first video and subscribing would really help me out. Although Jota's performance was absolutely stunning, Jota wanted something else, a hat-trick. It had been almost 3 years and 2 clubs since he had scored a hat-trick, and in January 2019, this young star would achieve this in a game against Leicester City, even scoring the winning goal for his club. By doing this, he also became the second Portuguese player to achieve a hat-trick in the entire history of Premier League. To make it even better, Wolves had never even received a winger talented enough to score a hat-trick in the Premier League. However, this was just the beginning of Jota's era, because he would go on to dominate the football scene. One of the more notable feats of Jota during this era was his winning goal against Manchester United in the 2018 FA Cup, which allowed Wolves to advance into the semi-finals, something that hasn't happened since 1997. Jota even scored in the Europa League, which was Wolves' first European goal since 1980. He also did a bunch of other things to carry his club into becoming one of the top Premier League clubs, which was unheard of for Wolves. Wait a minute, something's missing here. So far we've covered Diogo Jota's early club career, but what about his national career?
Another international goal for Diogo Jota.
Diogo Jota actually started playing for Portugal at under 19 level and scored his first goal against Turkey in a 6-1 win. That scoreboard is absolutely disgusting. Fast forwards a couple years, he's now in the senior squad. In fact, he was part of the squad that won the 2019 UEFA Nations League finals, but he wouldn't make an appearance until the UEFA Euro 2020 qualifier, when he substituted in for Ronaldo. His first goal would come soon in a 4-1 win against Croatia in the UEFA Nations League. After his insane performance in recent games, the manager decided to put him in the final squad of Portugal, and Jota would not disappoint. Unfortunately though, football doesn't just rely on one player. The Germany players far outskilled the entire Portugal team, resulting in a decimating loss. Despite this, Jota still played extremely well and even scored a goal. But enough about the internationals, let's head back to his club career, because Jota would catch the eye of Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool's manager and arguably one of the best managers in the history of football. The club had become intrigued with Jota during his time at FC Porto, but was reluctant to close the deal. In fact, the club wasn't even interested in signing him, but Jurgen Klopp saw potential. He even stated in an interview, "If we don't buy Jota, he will become Liverpool's biggest threat." So in early 2020, he was signed to Liverpool for a whopping $45 million, almost quadruple his price during the Wolves period. Little did they know, this random winger would go on to break records, because on the day of his Premier League debut, he scored and allowed his team to defeat Arsenal. But he wasn't just a one-trick pony. Diogo Jota would go on to score 7 goals in 10 appearances, even netting a hat-trick in the UEFA Champions League, something that hasn't been done since Robbie Fowler in 1993. Thanks to his outstanding skills, Jota was awarded Liverpool Player of the Month. Unfortunately, this would mark the end of his debut season, as he suffered a leg injury during a UEFA Champions League match. But just 3 months later, he was back to doing what he did best: score. In fact, why don't we play a little game? I'm going to list down 4 clubs and you have to guess which club Jota didn't score against. Ready? Manchester United, Atletico Madrid, Everton, and Newcastle United. And time. The answer is none of them, because this absolute monster of a player scored against every single one of these clubs. And if you thought that was it, think again, because Jota also led Liverpool to win their first ever League Cup since 2012 by scoring in a penalty shootout against Chelsea. However, I would like to preface this by saying that Jota couldn't have done it without his amazing teammates. Liverpool had one of the strongest lineups in 2022, with Mohamed Salah and Firmino being 2 insanely skilled attackers. But Jota's true skill would be tested on 14 May in the 2020 FA Cup final, when in a series of events, Salah got injured. He was substituted for Jota, and he played extremely well. Although he didn't score a single goal, he held down the other team long enough till the penalty shootouts, in which he scored with ease. So it came as no surprise when Liverpool renewed his contract with the club. As I mentioned earlier, he suffered a leg injury and had to take a rest for 3 months. However, within just 1 month of his return, Jota provided 3 assists in 1 match to Mohamed Salah during a UEFA Champions League match. While he has has certainly earned his status as one of the best Portuguese wingers. My favorite match of Jota by far has to be Liverpool's Premier League match against Tottenham. Picture this, the scoreboard is 3-3 and the game is about to end in just a couple minutes. With the ball under his possession, Jota scored the winning goal, just in time to defeat Tottenham and get him nominated for the Premier League Player of the Month award. His prime would come in January 2024, with Mohamed Salah unavailable due to playing in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations and his subsequent injury. Jota stepped up in his absence, forming a successful partnership with Darwin Núñez that saw him score 5 goals and assist another 2 goals in Liverpool's wins over multiple clubs, which I'll show on screen right now. Anyways, Liverpool was about to receive a new head coach, Arne Slot. This would turn out to be a good thing for Jota as he was able to fit into Slot's system tactically due to his ability to provide scoring opportunities. On 2nd April 2025, Jota scored the winner and his last ever goal against Everton to maintain the club's 12-point lead at the top of the table, and with that, Liverpool won the 2024-2025 Premier League, earning Jota's 4th and final trophy with the club. With his insane dedication and effort, Jota was selected for Portugal's 2025 UEFA Nations League final squad. He and his team went on to win the tournament 5-3 in a penalty shootout over Spain, which would mark the end of Jota's entire football career. I'm not going to go into details about his death because it's simply been talked about way too much. Although Diogo Jota has passed away, his name will continue to live on forever. Thank you for watching. If this video was helpful, please drop a like and subscribe.